For them to put football on Thanksgiving is such an excuse for men not to do work.
Don't even get me started on that stuff because yes, but let's talk about how football became a Thanksgiving tradition and how now they're kind of intertwined and inseparable. And spoiler alert to save you time, the answer is capitalism. So the real thing is that football, of course, when it first started out, wasn't all that popular and they're trying to figure out ways to get it off the ground and get it some more attention. So for starters, Thanksgiving and football kind of both rose to popularity around the same time, and that's no coincidence. So Thanksgiving wasn't a very widely celebrated holiday until around 1863 when Abraham Lincoln really encouraged people to start celebrating it around the time of the Civil War to promote patriotism for the country. Now there's a lot to unpack here with all of that and Thanksgiving as a whole, but this is a video about football today and we don't have time to get into that. But roughly around this time, a few years later, we started to see football kind of coming onto the scene and gaining more popularity. And at the time, football was an amateur sport, so it was only played in colleges, and specifically those really expensive, fancy East Coast colleges. Because as we know, football is a very expensive sport, so that makes sense. Now obviously there was some pushback on playing sports on an American holiday as such, but given that they both kind of popped up around the same time, it just started to make sense in our minds that they went hand in hand. Now the NFL wasn't formed until the 1920s, and again, when you're first forming something, there's no popularity around it, so in order to draw in popularity, they relied on pre-existing traditions such as Thanksgiving games. So every year the NFL would schedule 6 games on Thanksgiving to draw attention. Although nowadays, I think they only schedule 3. And then around the 1960s, we finally started to see a shift from the most popular sport in the US from baseball, now leaning towards football, and by the 1970s, Thanksgiving and NFL football were pretty much inseparable. And then around the 1960s, the Dallas Cowboys were trying to get more attention onto their football team, so of course they decided to schedule an annual Thanksgiving game every year. In summary, you could say that Thanksgiving was pretty much used to distract the US from current events, and football decided to latch on to that pre-existing success to ride that wave to fame. But in the end, of course, as always, you can just blame good old-fashioned American capitalism, baby.